We'd like to begin this podcast by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, the Whadjuk Noongar people, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging.
This episode of Talking Couch Potatoes is brought to you by Henry Houndwear, the brand that all the best dressed hounds are wearing. To find yours, go to henryhoundwear.com.au.
Maleficent, how are ya? It's episode 41, Talking Couch Potatoes. We're back.
We're back. How you going?
I'm good. I'm actually quite good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm in, can I say, an ebullient mood.
that's good.
Yeah, normally I'm...
No, I
especially,
was going to say it's good for you. For those around you,
Oh,
that
it's too
mood
much?
Can be
Can it be a bit much? Yeah, it can be a bit much.
no, it's nice to see you happy.
Yeah, I am happy. And the world's a depressing place. We still race beautiful creatures and let them die,
I know.
break their legs,
Yep.
just so we can have a bet. So I'm going to embrace this ebullience.
Good.
Google it, listeners.
Well, yeah, I know. What?
It's a good
I
one,
was
isn't
going
it?
to say, what is it?
Last week we had a bit of a mashup, didn't we, Mel? It was a greatest hits, if you will.
We did.
It was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gems, an artiste.
She's amazing. Imagine without Gemma, the kind of madness and chaos people would have to listen to.
I don't think people would like us very much.
They wouldn't like us very much. So, yeah, we've got one of my favourite type of guests. I've said to you time and time again, I love talking to professors and politicians, you know, but what I love the most are the people on the ground who do the work, who really put their heart and soul, time, energy into advocating for change. And we've got one of them.
Exactly.
Not just one of them, one of the
top.
Yeah.
And particularly special because it's Mother's Day on Sunday.
Yeah, that's a clue.
Yeah, she's a mama.
Yep.
Happy Mother's Day to all those mamas out there.
Happy Mother's Day, and not just to mothers with little human babies.
Yeah, mothers
Happy
with
Mother's Day
animal
to the
babies.
furry baby mamas.
Yep.
Gemma, I'm talking to you.
Yep.
And I must say happy Mother's Day to my mum. She's been through quite the experience.
A lot at the moment.
I won't go into it, but she's going to be fine. And Mum, I love you to bits. Can't wait to spend the next 20, 30 years with you. I don't think she'd say the same to me. I think she's frankly had enough of my time, but I'd like some more time with her.
Yeah. And happy Heavenly Mother's Day to my mama.
Yeah, brilliant. Mel, what's going on?
Well, winter is always a little bit of a slowdown because there's not as many events and stuff on, but we have our Nana Bingo next weekend.
Don't.
And I cannot. I know,
Don't.
right?
I think I've mentioned
You have on several occasions.
I'm a fan of bingo, 100%.
Nana Bingo is going to be a lot of fun, and it's for a good cause.
Also, buy your tickets because Mel, you might miss out.
You absolutely will miss out if
What
you
have
don't get
we've got
right now.
barely a week left.
Yep.
I think there's a couple of tickets left.
Yep. They're for sale on the Humanitics website, so
Yeah.
please hop on and
Get in there. And I've decided I'm going to rock up in full Nana attire.
Are you Nana or Pop?
I think no, I'm going to be a Nana.
I just hope there's some fellas out there that'll dress up as the Pops.
All right. If they
Because
don't,
Pops need a really good...
I tell you what, if they don't, I'll transition.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So, Matt, I have a question for you.
Yep.
Pro racing community come out and say that the greyhounds,
Yeah.
the dogs love to race.
Yeah. They do that a lot, don't
Yes, they do.
I think it's a bit of a false equivalency. They love to run.
Yep.
My girl, my boy, they do a little run around all over the show, kick their legs up, and then they're tired and want to go to bed.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think from my perspective, there's a difference between racing and running.
Absolutely.
What do you reckon, Mel?
100%. Racing is a man-made concept. The round track
Yeah.
is so that you can see the start, you can see the finish.
Yep.
And you can watch the 30 seconds to 1 minute that it might go
Of
for.
entertainment.
I know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can I say one more thing, Mel? When I take Bunny and Bo down the park to the off-lead area, I know for a fact that the odds of them being injured or killed are infinitely smaller than the odds of chucking them on a track.
Yep.
Yeah. I know for a fact that if I did that, there's over 1 in 3 chance they'll be injured or killed.
Yep.
When I take them to the off-lead area, there's a tiny chance that something might happen.
Yep.
That's another difference, I'd say.
Yeah, and also the enjoyment of running does not justify the exploitation, the injuries and the premature deaths associated with the racing industry. Because quite often participants don't have the means of looking after an injured dog for a prolonged rehabilitation time, whereas a pet owner is far more likely, not in all instances, but they are more likely to care for that dog until it is fully rehabilitated.
I'll tell you right now, Mel, I will sell my home before I let.
Same.
Yeah. So it seems like very much a bit of a spurious argument, if I could say that.
Yeah, and we would also say that activities like lure coursing or free runs in secure areas can provide the dogs with the physical activity that they enjoy without the risks of racing. And could they get injured? 100%. Nothing is ever risk-free. But every single time, in your mind as a person putting the dog on a track that there may be an injury. You know that. Yeah. I know that every race I watch. Yeah. But you do not go to the park or to the beach or to lure coursing thinking or knowing that.
Yeah, and this isn't stats or objective reality. This is just my gut. When they say they love to race, I think what they're really saying is we love to race them.
Exactly.
If you've got any thoughts on that, if you've got a different idea about that, definitely our listeners and pro racers, because we know you listen to us pro racers, if you think that our little chat about that situation is some way askew, email us, podcast@freethehounds.com.au. We'll even have you on the show if you like. We're going to investigate a few of these myths of racing and greyhounds over a period of time. But we're open to discussion.
100%. We'd love to have a discussion.
My wisdom, as I've said, comes from what I've learnt that I don't know, not what I do know. So teach me different.
Absolutely.
Teach us different.
Yep.
Thanks, Mel.
No probs. See you at Nana Bingo next week.
Oh, my God, will you? It's time for our beautiful, wonderful guest, and we'll be back with them soon. Here it is, Mel. It's time to meet someone I think many people in the Free the Hounds community will be well aware of, because she's a force of nature in the advocacy space, frankly. Her daughter is a force of nature in the advocacy space. Her beloved fur baby is basically famous.
Absolutely.
And we get to
for a lot of reasons.
We get to speak to the progenitor of all of this. It's the mother of one of our previous guests, actually, 9-year-old Hannah. She is the fur mama of Georgia the Grey, who is basically as famous as Beyonce in pro rata terms.
Exactly.
And for singing. She volunteers at events. She makes bandanas, manages merchandise, helps with social media for Free the Hounds. She's a committee member of Free the Hounds. She does school incursions where she visits schools with the hounds and introduces all ages to greyhounds as pets. She's basically, as I said, an absolute force of nature. She'll hate me saying that because she also happens to be absurdly humble.
Humble, I know.
I'd like to introduce everyone to Jess. How are you, Jess?
Hi, good, thanks, Matt.
Hi, Jess.
What did you think of that intro?
I'm just slightly embarrassed over here, but...
No, it's all true.
It's all true.
She's nice aside from that as well.
I think she's lovely. And she puts up with me.
I know, she deserves a gold medal just for that.
We've met a number of times, and Jess always, she doesn't walk straight away from me when she sees me.
Because she's dodged you well before.
That shows an ability to really have empathy for the vulnerable in the community is what I'm saying. Jess, many of our followers know Hannah, obviously, and she's been on the show. She's a force of nature too. I think you've engendered that. And we all know Georgia. By the way, can I mention, those who don't know Georgia, she's a massive Insta star at Georgia_the_grey. Go check that out. Not only is Georgia gorgeous, she sings. So there's a huge level of advocacy and involvement clearly that you're doing. Where did it start for you?
Yeah, so it all really started with Hannah when she was asking for a pet dog. And of course we wanted to rescue a dog. We didn't really know much about greyhounds at that point in time, but we'd seen them around the community and we were curious. It was actually a social media post by our local MP, Hannah Beasley, who sparked our interest to actually go looking for a greyhound. And then I hopped online and I started looking through profiles of rescued greyhounds, and I saw Georgia, and her profile was written as if it was specifically intended to speak to our family.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I put in an application, and 2 days later she was home with us. So it was, happened pretty suddenly. But yeah, like with most people that welcome a greyhound into their lives, they steal your heart and open your mind to things that you didn't know anything about. And once she'd had a chance to settle in and decompress, and we started seeing her true personality, which is gentle, funny, sweet and loving. And then we started looking into a bit more about what goes on with these dogs in the industry. And we just found it really hard to sort of reconcile the two, you know, the beautiful dog that we had as our beautiful pet and the reality of greyhound racing. And once you see these things, you can't unsee them. So then we decided to start getting involved in trying to make a change. And so I'd set up an Instagram account for Georgia. It was first intended just to be a bit of fun, but that's how I found Free the Hounds and and the wider greyhound community, which has been amazing.
That stands out to me so much, that comment you made about when you meet these beautiful creatures and you understand their gentleness and you contrast that with what you discover about how they're treated in other contexts, it really sets in a really stark way that these beautiful creatures should not be treated the way they are.
Exactly. They're so gentle, they're so funny and so quirky, and all they really want is to be in the company of humans. They're humans. They just want to be near you whatever you're doing. And just knowing the way that they're treated in the industry and kept in basically solitary confinement and all of that, it must be, so really hard for these dogs to endure.
And it began with the Instagram account. And you said that you mentioned that was just going to be a bit of fun. It's really taken off. How many followers has George the Grey got on Insta?
Oh, she's up to about 32,000 at the moment.
Right.
Yeah. Some of the videos of her singing have gone crazy viral.
Check it out. Seriously, check it out. She actually sings.
She's so cute.
And you get to see Hannah. Hannah plays piano sometimes as well.
Yep.
That's right. Georgia loves to join in and sing along.
So that was one thing you did. But I also know that you moved beyond that, Jess, to do school incursions.
That's right.
Can you tell us a bit about that and what that involves?
Yeah, so the school incursion program was started off by Emily, and many of our listeners will know her as Lily Longnose's mama. And Emily did a wonderful job putting together the framework and setting up the school presentations and creating a range of fun and engaging activities. And Emily and I did a lot of those early visits together, and I found it's a really fun and rewarding way of advocating for greyhounds. So Emily's got a small baby now, which makes things a little bit more challenging. So I stepped in as a part of my committee role with Free the Hounds.
So what does that actually involve, Jess? Like, what's the depth and breadth of the process of that?
Yeah, so we tailor the presentations to suit all age groups, and we've got content that's age appropriate to ensure that we're not sort of scaring the little kids too much. And they've been designed in collaboration with teachers, ensuring that they're aligned with the school curriculum. We present to all ages from kindy all the way up to high school and adults. For the younger kids, we start off with story time. We read them a story such as Lily Longnose Finds a Home or the Lonely Longnose book, which are wonderful. It's a great way of introducing really difficult topics to young kids without scaring them too much. We also provide greyhound cuddles, which are always incredibly popular. And we provide a range of fun activities like colouring in and craft activities for the kids, which is great. And for the older students, we talk a little bit more about greyhound racing, gambling and ways to advocate and influence change makers. And a lot of those students have gone on to write letters to their members of parliament, which is obviously fantastic.
You're creating young politically involved.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Brilliant. I was going to ask how do the kids react to this, but my guess is it's mostly positive.
Yeah, the kids, they always respond with such purity, and it's honestly one of the most beautiful things. Their first question's often like, why would someone do that to a dog, or how can we help?
Yeah.
It's hard to answer sometimes because why would you do that to a dog?
Yeah.
It's a really good question.
There's the simplicity of that childlike thinking.
Yeah. But kids don't understand about the money side of it or the business side of it. They just see a pet perhaps just like their own dog, and they wonder why you would treat that dog any differently, especially when they've got an actual real life greyhound sitting in front of them in the classroom, usually asleep or
it's a felt experience. They're having a
Exactly.
felt experience of these beautiful creatures, and then when you tell them about the reality, what's happening out there, it is a childlike, honest, beautiful response to say, how could you do this?
Yeah.
I wonder if we were speaking, Matt and I, earlier on Pro Racer's stance on about dogs running, but I wonder if a pro racer would respond saying, oh, well, you could take your dog to the park or to the beach and it could get injured and die. Would you say that to a kid?
Yeah.
Would that be their response to a young child? Would you want to instill that kind of fear or that sadness into a kid by saying, oh, you might lose Fido?
It could happen
taking
anyway.
it to the park or to the... I just wonder, putting it at that level.
The other argument they might say is you are indoctrinating children when you go into these schools with this, viewpoint. And Mel, you've said before, they are promoting this as family stuff.
Exactly.
And they are allowing kids to come to these tracks.
Yeah.
It really goes straight to the heart of what we're doing at Free the Hounds, is just trying to promote these dogs as the dogs that they are, no different to any other dog breed, and trying to advocate for the same kind of protections and rights for them. So when kids see them for what they are, it's straight at the heart of what we're intending, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always leave the school visits feeling really uplifted and hopeful for the future, because I really don't think that these children are going to tolerate this kind of entertainment in the future.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. One of the sweetest things is when we were at events with Free the Hounds, and then a child comes up to us and says, oh, you visited me at my school and thanks for coming in. It was one of the best days of the year. So it's so rewarding, and it's such a lovely thing to do. So I'm really grateful for the chance to be able to go and represent Free the Hounds in that capacity.
And it's so important, Jess. I've mentioned before I work in mental health and I work with young people. And if you can get to young people at the right time, you can change the trajectory of things. And that's what you're doing. But I am hoping that it won't take a generation to get there, but it is very important that we start to counter the idea that this is a family-friendly, because that's what happened to me, Jess. I grew up thinking this was... if I had someone come into my school and show me this beautiful creature, I might not have been in my 40s before I woke up. What would you tell anyone, Jess, with your experience and your knowledge and your personal experience of adopting? What would you tell anyone thinking about adopting a greyhound?
Oh, greyhounds just change you in ways you just don't see coming. Their ability to forgive and move on from the past is nothing short of remarkable. And having a greyhound in your life is all kinds of magic. Of course, they need to decompress and everything at first, but watching their personalities come out, and once they really bond with you, it's truly special. And also, one of the best things about having a greyhound is the incredible cult of greyhound lovers that comes along with it.
Right.
The community.
Yeah. No, I've experienced that. Greyhound owners they're special. Yeah. They're special kind of people. They really are. And
greyhounds encourage tattoos as well, don't they?
They do.
I think I've got about 5 or 6 greyhound tattoos now. And
I've
you have
got
a
3
lovely...
now and counting. And soon, maybe more soon.
Oh, woo. There's a beautiful one that I can see on Jess's arm of Georgia curled up.
So not only do you get a beautiful creature, you get a beautiful bunch of people to hang around with.
That's exactly right.
I'll be there as well.
But the rest of them are
okay. So, Jess, final thought, final message, I guess, for our listeners. This school incursion thing, I think, is really important. We're trying to change the minds of people in power. We're getting out there, getting signatures from adults. You are working on an even more fundamental level. You're talking to kids. What can people do to help? What can people do to help support?
So the best thing that people can do is help us spread the word. So if you're a young person who'd love a greyhound to visit your school, or if you're a teacher or a parent or a carer of a young person, we'd love to hear from you. You can email me directly, or you can ask your teacher to get in touch with me, and I can send through all the information about the school visits. We're also looking for volunteers who'd like to join the school team. So especially if your dog is quite calm and good with children or enjoys that sort of environment, we'd also love you to come along and join our school team and get involved. It's such a rewarding experience and a beautiful way to advocate for these amazing dogs. And my email address is community@freethehounds.com.au.
community@freethehounds.com.au. Also, you can get in touch with podcast@freethehounds.com.au if you want to get in touch with Jess. You can search Georgia the Grey on Instagram. Get involved. You can do stuff and it's amazing, and the kids will enjoy it and you'll have a lovely time.
Thank you so much, Jess, for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And thank you for just
being a real pleasure.
For being a good human and being on the right side, we think is the right side.
No worries. It's been really amazing being involved with Free the Hounds and so many wonderful opportunities, but I just hope that we don't have to be a part of Free the Hounds anymore and that we can end greyhound racing.
That's what we all think.
But we'll still be friends after that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how we feel about the podcast. We don't want this podcast to live much older than 40.
Yes, make us extinct.
Make us redundant. Thank you, Jess, so much. I appreciate your time.
No worries. Thanks.
And please give Hannah our love and give Georgia a pat for us.
Will do. Thank you both.
Mel,
Yes.
what do you reckon?
Good. I love
Lovely?
Jess.
Yeah, she's lovable.
Yep.
And not only lovable, every event I've ever come to, Jess is doing something
Yep,
and she's
absolutely.
busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any thoughts for you, Mel? No? You're all good? Should we finish it up? All right. Mel's just nodding and shaking her head at me. All right. That was episode 41 of Talking Couch Potatoes. We'll see you next time. Keep listening, keep advocating, keep getting on the ground and doing what you can, because one day we shall release the hounds.